Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Travel with the Stars. And this week we are traveling to Disneyland, the other coast, the West Coast, where it's sunnier than where I'm currently sitting in the gray clouds and the cold weather. I know Kyla's also with me.
Same.
She's down there. Yeah, she's same because she's northeast. The rest of them are in the south, so they're probably not. Anyway, we have some repeat guests on this show. You should recognize all these faces if you have been with us since week one. So I will start to my immediate right, and we have David Dollar hailing from Alabama.
Hi.
And then next to him, we have Jessica Levine from the Orlando area.
Hi.
And right below me, we have Emily Schweigert, her brand new last name, also from Orlando. And then we have Kyla in the right next to Emily. Hi, Kyla.
Good morning.
Good morning from New Hampshire. So we have two of us in gray, cold weather, and the rest of the people have sun, and we're not jealous at all. But today we are going to talk about where it all started. 1955, Disneyland in California. And this is such a great time to talk about it because the Disney company did just celebrate its 100-year call it anniversary, I guess, birthday. It's, it's just, I can't 100 years of our most favorite magical mouse. And
It's a celebration.
1923.
1923.
So October 16th, 1923 to be specific. That was the day that the Disney Brothers Studio Company was founded. As they set up shop in the back of a realty office. Roy and Walt. I'm a nerd when it comes to this.
No, that's fantastic because I couldn't have told you that it was in the back of a realty office, but I kind of love that it was just a little bit.
They expanded eventually. I don't know if you knew this or not, but they actually did grow out of that office.
Really?
Yeah. So,
just a little bit.
And here I thought they were just running the whole company from the back of the real estate office.
Sometimes it feels like the tech is that way, but let's move on. Hamster in a wheel. We'll keep going.
But Disneyland being one of our most magical favorite places, and we just want to talk about what makes it special, and especially for those of us who are maybe on the eastern seaboard or even the eastern half of the United States. For some reason, people are like, oh, well, why would I cross the country? Why would I take that long flight to get to California? What makes it so great? Their castle's smaller anyway. So we need to talk about why Disneyland is so magical. So let's start with just that. What makes it, there's a lot of things that make it different from Walt Disney World, but what makes it so magical that it is worth somebody flying across the country to experience? And I'm actually going to start with you, Jessica, because you just had your very first time and you had never flown across the country. And so I would love to hear what you think made it so magical.
So just talking about the flight, honestly, the flights are not bad. So I flew from Orlando to oh gosh, Emily, what airport did we fly into? Well, right, to Austin. And we had a layover for like an hour. And then we flew into John Wayne Airport. And because it's broken up and because of the time zones, it felt like nothing. We left at like 6:30 in the morning. We got there at noon. So to us back home, it was like a full day. But once you get to California, then you're on California time. And we still had half of a day and a whole night to walk around and explore and enjoy. So it's really not that bad when you're going there. Coming back is a different story. But when you're going there from the East Coast, it's fine. So why you should go is it's where it all started. Like there's just something so magical about the atmosphere. It is very different from Walt Disney World, which obviously is my home base and I love more than anything in life. But there's just something magical about walking through those gates and knowing that Walt was there. And if you're a Disney buff on any level, that's just so special. And it's emotional because he started this dream sitting on a park bench. He wanted a place for his daughters to have fun, and he wanted a place for parents to have fun with their kids. And it's like the greatest gift he could have given the world. And it's just so magical just to be there. It's the atmosphere. You just have to go. It's magical.
Emily, you want to add to that?
Yeah, so I think I love the history of it and the nostalgia of it and all of that. But, I'm trying to work out a trip to plan for my kids for next year because I think they're tired of watching me go, and not go. So, so I feel like I need to plan a trip. But one thing we always talk about is there are different rides, there are different experiences. And if you are used to going to World all of the time, there are different experiences, and it's a whole new Disney vacation. And that's exciting to me as a mom. And my other thing is that I like small parks. I like things that feel accomplishable. I like things that don't feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
That you can take your time and be slow and enjoy different things. And if you fly into Orange County, you take a short little ride there and you're there. And if you stay at Disneyland Hotel, you stay at Grand California, you're right there. Paradise Pier, you're right there. It's not, it's so unbelievably easy. And I don't think people understand how easy it is, but it's really, of all the trips that I've taken, it's really a no-brainer. It's really, really easy. Where Disney World is a world.
Massive.
It is a
There's
destination.
A lot of complication.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still so much simplicity in land.
Yeah.
And
I love
it's
that.
just there's the spontaneity of the characters wandering around, and that's just wonderful. And it speaks to when we were all children and you used to go as a child. That's how it used to be at World also. Just a little bit of a slower pace, and that works for me, and that works for a lot of people who
Absolutely.
if you are overwhelmed by the idea of going to World, start with land.
Yeah. And so let's explore that a little bit more because you touched on a few things. And so David and Kyla, I'm going to ask you a little bit about that microcosm of Disneyland because, Emily just mentioned staying at the Grand California, Paradise Pier, or Disneyland Hotel, of course, there are some other things too. And I know, David, let's start with you because you actually made a map of like all of the hotels that are walking distance. So talk a little bit about staying at Disneyland Resort. I was a little bit worried you were going to
David played Frogger.
He played Frogger.
All the way
I did,
down
well,
to Compton.
Referring to one of the first times I went, when I went with the agency and met a lot of people for the first time, Kyla included. And Emily, I guess too. Like I went down to there's the whole Harbor Boulevard right there in front of Disneyland, and there's a whole row of good neighbor hotels. And we say good neighbor hotels at Disney World. There's Disney Springs, there's sprinkled all over the place too. Yeah. Harbor Boulevard probably has about 15 hotels right there in the front, all within walking distance to the parks. Whereas in Disney World, if you're at whatever the Dreary Inn on Disney Springs, you're not walking to a park. You're going to take a bus. If you're at the Anaheim Inn at Disneyland, you're going to walk to the park in 10 minutes. And I went walking through the median of a very busy Harbor Boulevard, just taking pictures of trying to get pictures of everything, as I was walking by, and I got honked at a couple times and I thought I was going to get shot, but hey, I made it. Right. But no, there's a whole number of hotels there. And what I love about this area too, is because the deluxe hotels, as we mentioned, Pixar Pier, Paradise Pier, Pixar Pier, Grand California, and Disneyland Hotel, those can be pricey. I mean, they're on the level of your Polynesian, your Wilderness Lodge, things like that. And a lot of times budgets can't afford that. They're like, I want to go to Disneyland, but I can't stay at Disneyland Hotel. I wish we could. I love the Disneyland Hotel, but I understand that too. So there's a number of hotels that you can still get a lot of the same amenities right there in front. And so if you're at the Best Western Park Place Inn, which is across the street from the gates, it's the best place to be on Harbor Boulevard. I mean, you think Best Western, you're like, I don't want to stay at Best Western. Yes, you do. You want to stay right there because you cross the street, that red light, and you're at the park. It's amazing. So yeah, there's a number of great hotels right there in that little area, just to walk to the parks. And it's, you walk there's like a 10-minute walkway from the main street to the Esplanade. And then you walk and there's Grand California on your left and there's Disneyland on your right. And they're literally 90 seconds apart. You can be in from one gate here to inside the other park in less than 2 minutes. It's remarkable how fast that is to get there.
Absolutely. I agree with all that. And then Kylie, when you stayed, now you were just there in April with your girls.
Mhm.
It was your girls' first time, yeah?
It was their first time. Yes, they were shocked at the length of the flight. They did not like that compared to Disney World's flight.
Oh no.
We're not
They
impressed.
were like, "What are we gonna do?" And I'm like, "You have a TV, you have
Mom, we've been
snacks,
on a
like,
flight for 10 hours.
you're gonna be fine." So they were fine.
They were
it was,
fine.
yeah, they'll be fine. We stayed at Disneyland Hotel on
Mhm.
club level, which was amazing because we had not stayed with the girls on club level before at any Disney
Bougie.
resort, and I take after my boss. And then it was great. I mean, we had breakfast at club level in the morning, and if you haven't stayed at Disneyland Hotel club level before, the wall looking out to the parks is completely glass from floor to ceiling. So you have this beautiful like panoramic view of the parks of downtown Disney, which you walk through to get over to the parks from Disneyland Hotel. So it was a great way to start the day. The staff
Yeah.
there was amazing. And then we would just walk through downtown Disney and go to our park for the day, and then hop later on. But the girls really loved Disneyland in particular versus California Adventure.
Yeah. Well, and of course there are two parks, as she just mentioned. I do have to take a little sidebar. Downtown Disney, Kyla, do you love it as much as Disney Springs?
I think we all know my heart lies with Disney Springs.
I love Disney Springs.
Downtown Disney to me, like I don't know, I can't. That's like a whole other episode.
That will be. We will have a Disney
It's
Springs.
cute.
It's
It's so
tries.
cute.
it is really cute.
Bless.
I mean, you don't really want to be at
Like-
downtown Disney with those people. If you could be at Disney Springs with your real people, yeah, I see. I
Yeah,
see.
exactly, 100%. So downtown Disney, it's just cutesy.
It is, yeah. Disney Springs or sorry, downtown Disney is really cute, and they do have some great shops. But so let's talk about. We do have two parks, right? We have Disneyland, which is the magical. It's the Magic Kingdom. Essentially, it's the Magic Kingdom. You walk in, and it's like kind of trippy. Do you guys
Before there
think,
was a
like,
Magic Kingdom, by the way.
True. It's like
Yes.
it
The
was
OG.
the
The OG.
OG.
OG Magic Kingdom. And like you walk in and it's so weird to me being like, I know exactly where I am and I know where I need to go. But this is also, it's like when you're dreaming that you're in your house, but you're not really in your
Right.
Yes.
It's familiar, but not. Like
Right.
it's a weird feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, because like we all, the five of us, we navigate Walt Disney World without a map. Like we
We are
We
the
just-
maps.
are like the map is here. So when we walked into Disneyland for the first time, and I'm like, it's so strange. I know where to go, but I also don't know where anything is. So,
Right.
And like
It's also
there's
like
this,
going
where's
from a
the spring roll
mansion.
part?
It's like going from a mansion to a tiny house. I mean,
Right.
it really is. Like, there's the kitchen, there's a bedroom, there's a loft, but it's just like I'm standing in Liberty Square, and there's Adventureland like 3 feet here. If there's Adventureland, I can touch
Yeah.
it, and over here it's everything is so close. Whereas you actually have to walk from one place to the other at Disney at Magic Kingdom. It's just so compact and it's just strange.
it's
It's
so
a weird
shiny and
feeling.
it's trippy because everything on Main Street, it's like everything's the same. Like
Mhm.
you have a
Mhm.
shopping
Mhm.
area,
Mhm.
but it's different. You
Right.
have a restaurant at the end where Casey's usually is, but it's not Casey's.
Right.
Mhm.
Then you have the Plaza Inn, still have the Plaza Inn on the right hand corner, but pink.
But it's not the same.
But it's
Mhm.
pink.
And it's not the same.
Right.
It
With
is.
characters.
It's very trippy. And then you go, where's the castle?
Mhm.
Yeah. Where's the castle?
You keep waiting for the castle to get bigger as you walk, and it's like I think it's getting smaller as I'm walking closer to it. It's just
I do love the castle.
Barbie
It's
dream
so
house.
small, but I love it. I love that you can walk through it. That's my favorite
Yes.
part because that's
Yes.
just so different
my
from
favorite
Disney
part.
World.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's special.
I
It
do.
is special.
It is.
You don't have to pay for a super expensive lunch to get into the castle at Disneyland.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Which
Yeah.
is an important note. But it is, if you are used to the large Cinderella castle at the end of
Mhm.
Main Street, Sleeping Beauty Castle is just petite. it's just fun size.
If the
Itty
trees grow a
bitty.
little too tall and
It's
they
fun
don't trim them that day, you're not going to see it.
Yeah. But she's
She's itty
beautiful
bitty.
and the
She is
detail is lovely
adorable.
and I love the pink and the
We,
Walt
we have
love
to
the
find
pink.
somebody who's never been to Disney World and have them on the show after going to Disney World, seeing
See.
Cinderella Castle, going,
Mhm.
Yeah.
"It's a castle."
You know,
Real
our friend
castle.
Cherie grew up going to Disneyland, and we
Mhm.
should ask her. Like, you know, I think her reaction was the opposite.
Right.
Was like when she went to Disney World, like, oh my gosh, the castle's huge.
Right.
'Cause she, you know, she was always.
I
on
can't wait
land.
to see my girl's reaction. I can't wait.
That's
Yeah.
going to be so magical. Now, you guys are talking. A lot of you have littles, or you know, small. I mean, yeah, Campbell's still a little technically. I mean,
Yes.
I guess he's.
You can
kind
say
of
kids.
tween.
It's okay. We have kids.
He's a twin,
Yeah.
a tween.
It's all right.
Yeah, you'll
Children's the
you'll
word
have
you're looking for.
children. You'll have kiddos. Um, I've heard a lot of feedback, and maybe you guys can speak to it about how much less overwhelming it is to have kids in Disneyland than Disney World. Anyone want to? So, Kyla, I know you just took your girls for the first time. So,
I mean, they loved it, but they're like me. They're like, when are we going to Disney World again? I mean, we had such a great time, but they've
It's
been
great,
to
but-
Disney World a few times, and they just like know it. Like they're little maps. Like I'm the big map, and they're like little maps. They know where everything is. They love the parks that Disneyland doesn't have,
Sure.
but they also loved the rides in Disneyland that Disney World doesn't have. So that was special to them. And they love the parts of rides that aren't in Disney World, like Small World. It's different in Disneyland.
Yes.
A little bit. I don't want to give it away. But they like those little like nuances that make it just like a little bit different and a little bit more special, I would say. You know, Haunted Mansion, that's a little bit different. They thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, they've asked to go back. It's just, you know, finding the time and the
Finding the
flights
time.
and in between all the Disney World trips.
Emily, how do you think your girls are going to react? And in terms of like corralling the children, getting
Yeah, so I think Paige has asked for those toddler wristbands again that like you put like, girl, you're 6.5.
Grow up.
But anyway, going into that, we're wanderers. Like we approach Disney World because we get to go so often, but we have the ability to approach Disney World like we're Alice in Wonderland. Like we just start one way and we're like, let's go this way and let's see what we find over here and let's see what we find over there. And like we like meander. We're meanders. And then we're like, oh well, look, we're at Small World. But now the girls are so familiar with things inland because I've talked about it so much with them that when we did Soarin' Over California at Epcot the other day, so amazing to do it again. And at the end, of course, is land, and they freaked out. They pointed out everything like, that's the Matterhorn, and that's Small World, and I was like, see, this is why you have to go. But I think because land is so small and quaint, it will give us the ability to wander and explore and still do all the main attractions and still be able to do that. And I think just knowing them, I think they're going to love the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So I was looking yesterday. Madeline's like, what are you looking at? I'm like, nothing. Let's just be honest. If I tell Madeline and make it some surprise that we're going to land, she's going to be Disneyland Paris, right? Like Paris.
Madeline.
So it might not go over as well.
Right.
Just tell her that's the next trip.
Yeah, that'll be just right down the road.
That's it. They got a whole world tour planned. So
Hope they're
but
paying for it.
I just love, I don't know, maybe because they're so used to World, they're gonna have the same kind of reaction, like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
We love this, but we're so used to World.
Yeah.
But I think they're excited to do things even just like Pizza Planet, which we
Sure.
don't have here. So I really think they're gonna love the ability to see new things and have a new Disney experience.
Absolutely. Now let's switch over quickly to California Adventure because we haven't talked too much about that one. That is the second park out in California, and I will say a couple of my favorite rides are in that park, so I do really like it. Jessica, talk to us about California Adventure. What
So
did you love?
First of all, I just thought it was beautiful. Like
Yeah.
all the different areas, I just think it's so well done. Lands that stick out to me are Cars Land is amazing.
Oh my gosh, right?
I mean, it's literally like you're walking through Radiator Springs. It's just incredible.
At
And
night, it's
all
even
of
better.
yes,
yeah.
I totally agree. Oh my gosh,
Totally.
the first night I was there, I walked around by myself and just took pictures and videos, and I just, oh my gosh, it was just the best. And I have, my girls are young. They're almost 7 and then 2.5.
Mhm.
And so they are very much in like the Pixar phase. There's always a Pixar movie
Mhm.
on my television right now. So when I was there, we were in our Cars phase. And so I was texting my husband. I was like, oh my gosh, you have to show the girls this. It's amazing. So I thought that land is really well done. The whole Pixar Pier is just incredible. It's just, first of all, it's beautiful. You just have like the backdrop of, the Incredicoaster, and then you have the, the amazing, the iconic Mickey Mouse merry-go-round. I mean, yeah, oh my gosh, it's just, I won't go on it, but it's amazing to look at. It's beautiful.
Takes forever.
So Jessica, you're not a swinger. Is that what we're saying?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay, I'm just asking.
No.
Just curious. So
Thank you for
Not in
clarifying that,
Disneyland
David.
anyway.
just clarify.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
That's Pleasure Island, Kyla. Come on.
I love Pleasure Island.
No, I know you did.
Oh my gosh. But then there's also like a part of California Adventure that is dedicated to California, the state, and it's just so beautiful. And I just thought it was like a beautiful love letter to the state of California. And you have the big trees, and there's like walking trails. It's just gorgeous. It really is.
It is so pretty. And so the one area that you haven't touched on that I want David to touch on is Marvel. Worlds of I
Marvel, the Avengers Campus.
Thank you.
The
I'm like,
Avenger
Worlds of
Campus.
Marvel. Wait a second. Avengers
Yes,
Campus.
let me touch on that.
Yeah.
Starting with the name.
Starting with correcting my
Avengers Campus. Of course, one of the big differences in Walt Disney World and Disneyland is that Walt Disney World can't do Marvel characters in the park.
Right.
Disney World is not allowed to contractually. That's a whole other episode, honestly.
Oh, right. Literally.
Which is why you have the Avengers and Universal and not in Disney World. Disneyland, however, they have the freedom to do all of those things. And so
because they are west of the Mississippi.
Exactly. And so much to Jen's delight, they demolished Bugs Land because she hates everything Bugs Life, which is really sad.
I like Heimlich's train.
I don't know why you hate Joy, but anyway, so they built Avengers Campus because they had to capitalize on the Avengers, right? And of course, they turned their Tower of Terror into Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is phenomenal. I love the fact they have Mission Breakout over there and Tower Terror over here. I like exclusivity in parks. While there's some things at Disneyland I would love to have here, I don't want it here because I want to tell people, go there and do that, come here and do this, that kind of thing. So Mission Breakout is great. Of course, they expanded out a couple of years ago to include the Spider-Man ride, the Web Slingers, which is like basically like you're shooting with your hands, the web shooting kind of thing. And it's I mean, the ride's okay. But they're also
your arms will be sore afterwards.
Yes. And there's a technique to it. And it's one of those things you want to do multiple times because it's one of those rides that you want to do at least twice in a day because the first time you got to get your bearings to figure out what you're doing. Second time you're like, okay, I have this, but you're still like, your hands are all whatever. They have the Ant-Man restaurant there, so all the dishes are like really big or really small, and they've got different shows and stuff. And they've got the characters out there, so you're able to meet characters out there that you cannot meet at all in the parks. To the point when the Avengers came out, they did the Avengers wrap on the monorail. The monorail going through Epcot could not have that wrap because you could not have Avengers in the parks for any reason. Out there, I'm meeting Black Panther, I'm meeting Captain Marvel, I met Hawkeye, I met Black Widow, I met Cap, I met all those characters just wandering around. There they are, which is fantastic. And I think honestly, the equivalent of Hollywood Studios here is California Adventure out there. A lot of IP. You're not going to have nearly as much history and tradition because the park's only 20 years old. It's only been really redone in the last 10 to 12 years. But that's where you're going to find your Marvel, all your Marvel stuff. And they're coming out with new stuff too. They've announced that they're going to be building and adding onto it as best they can. And whatever space they got, which I don't think they have a lot of space, but
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But what they're doing, they have done a fantastic job with the Marvel campus. So
Yeah.
if you didn't want to go before, I'm guessing you probably want to go now after hearing
Yes.
all of those amazing things. Also, Pirates is better out there. Also, Space Mountain is better out there.
And Mr. Toad is better out there too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a safe assumption since Toadie's only out there. R.I.P. Toadie in Disney World.
See him at the Pet Cemetery. But
That's true. You can see him at the Pet Cemetery. So just so many magical things out in Disneyland. And I know any of us would be happy to answer questions, any of our star agents. So let's start with just some handles. Where can people find you? Emily, let's start with you.
You can find me on Instagram at Upon a Star Emily, and you can find me on Facebook at Upon a Star Emily also.
Awesome. And then, of course, you can email her, emily@uponastartravel.com. Jessica, how about you?
So on Instagram, I am at Magical Mouse Moments 21, and I'm on Facebook, Jessica L. Upon a Star Travel. And you can email me, Jessica L. @uponastartravel.com.
All right, David.
find me on Instagram at @themagiconyDollar. You can email me at david@uponastartravel.com. And of course, I have a podcast with somebody that's on this panel called the Main Street Electrical Podcast every Thursday. That would be myself and Jen. We're actually got to record an episode later today. And so, yeah, we do fun travel Disney stuff as well on podcast form. So.
Yes, absolutely. Please check that out. And we have lots of different topics and a little bit more in depth because it's a longer show. Absolutely. All right, Kyla.
You can find me at Disney Geek 27 on Instagram, and just check out my name on Facebook, Kyla Melbourne, travel agent at Upon a Star Travel, and my email is right there.
And you can email me, Jen at Upon a Star Travel. You can find me on Instagram at Upon a Star Jen. And of course, you can always find us at uponastartravel.com or at Upon a Star Travel on any of the social media platforms. But in the meantime, it has been absolutely wonderful to chat about Disneyland with the four of these amazing stars and also to all of you. And so just remember that you can discover a whole new world of travel, and we here at Upon a Star would love to help. Have a great day.